Hey y'all, it's Vicky and welcome to another video. Sorry, I had started recording and then I forgot that the maps was on because I was looking to see how long it would take to go somewhere tomorrow because I'm off work. And anyway, it was trying to take me there. And I don't want to go. I mean, it's not that I don't want to go, but I don't think I want to go tomorrow. Just was curious. I was curious where Gray, Tennessee was. Or is, or whatever you want to talk about. So I had filmed this morning, but it wasn't a good video. Plus, I was late for work. I was talking too fast. So I decided that I would film now. I couldn't upload anyway because my internet's been down at work. It's just not cooperating here lately. I don't know what the deal is. But anyway, here I am now, and I'm on my way home. I gotta stop and get my medicine so I can make medicine. And then tonight we have the dual races at Daytona. Now someone asked me to talk about this, so I'm gonna talk about it, and then I'll talk about it more as the weekend goes on. The dual races are qualifying races, heat races. Car, you need to get out of the road. God, idiots. Yes, I've got to go because I got to get over. So I'm speeding. Anyway, what I'm saying is that tonight are the dual qualifying races. This will determine the other positions for the Daytona 500 besides the first and second position. The first and second position are the only ones that are locked up. Now, evidently this person does not watch me all the time or is a new subscriber because he didn't know who my favorite driver is. My favorite driver is Chase Elliott. I will tell you that I don't really dislike anyone. I like to, if you want to put it this way, I like to hate on Denny Hamlin. I do not hate Denny Hamlin though, but I like to hate on him. That's just the way it is. You always have a driver that you want to win and one that you really don't want to win. So that's the two that I will bring up. All right, I'll be back. Okay, we're going to talk in the parking lot here. Anyway, Chase Elliott is my favorite driver. Now, I also have some other favorite drivers that I will be pulling for, especially to make the race. The next one that I'm pulling for is Justin Allgaier, who is attempting to qualify for the Daytona 500 in Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car. I am a big Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan. I really wasn't that big of a fan of his until he retired, and now I am. Been to his shop several times. I haven't met him, but you never know. You never know. Now, I did go see and meet Chase Elliott last year, so I have met him. But when you meet so many people, that's like Sarasota Tim meeting all his fans. He would never remember them, and that sun is in my eyes. Sorry, y'all. Okay. What do I want to talk about today? Other than that. Okay, that's really all I wanted to talk about. There's nothing really to talk about with Tim. I'm not into the toys, so I'm not going to be talking about the toys. Now, as far as his Cadillac thing, I think he's going to be moving on to Lexus, maybe. I don't know. I haven't watched the video, so I can't tell you for sure. Other thing is, back to NASCAR, is Chase and Allgaier are in the first qualifying race, along with William Byron, who is Chase's teammate, and there's some other Chevrolets. They're driving Chevrolets, and I hope they'll be able to work together, and so they can all be up front. Now, do I think they're going to win the race? I don't know. I really think the Fords are going to end up being the better car, but I guess we'll see at the end. The second race, I guess if I'm going to pull for somebody in that race, it would be, I guess, Alex Bowman or Kyle Larson. One of those, since they're Chase's teammates. So I would be probably pulling for them. I didn't really study that second race that much, so there might be somebody else in there that I would be pulling for. Now, along the lines of other things to take into consideration is Kyle Busch. This will be Kyle Busch's 20th time of trying to win the Daytona 500. And if you are a NASCAR fan, you know that has a great significance, because that's how many years it took, or how many races it took Dale Earnhardt to win the Daytona 500. So who knows? I would hate for Kyle to never win this race, and because he has a wonderful history, records. I do think he, in his time, in his prime, he was the best driver. I do think he's lost some of the edge, but I think that naturally comes with age. And once your children come and you get, I just think it comes with age that you kind of lose your edge. But I of course, I want Chase to win. But as a race fan, you can't help but want to see Kyle win. I know he has a lot of people that don't like him, but I do like him. I think that he has his place in history with NASCAR. Now, lots of people believe NASCAR is not what it used to be, and it's not. Now, you can decide whether it's as good or not. The only thing I will say about that's concerned is I probably did have more emotional involvement in the races in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, but I still love going as much as I once did. I'm just older now, so I don't go as much. I used to go to 15 to 20 races a year. Now you're lucky if you get me to one, because it's just hard. It's hard at my age to go. I know that sounds terrible, but I can't climb the hills like I once did. And Dave is not in the best of shape. Now, I am trying to work out more, because I know last year when we climbed the bleachers at North Wilkesboro at the All-Star race, I weren't ready to climb them, but I'm going to be this year. I've been walking the steps at work, climbing the steps at work, and I've found a couple of videos that I've been working out to at lunch, where I go into an office and I just do them. Now, they're not going to make you sweat, but they will get your heart rate up. And I'll try to remember to link those two below. They're the ones I really like. And that's about it. That's about all I got to say, I guess, when it comes, I'm just a big NASCAR fan. I like to watch, I have seen an Indy race before, and I did enjoy being there, but I don't really get into watching it, I guess. Formula One, I have no interest in whatsoever. Maybe if I went to one, I would enjoy it, but as far as watching it on TV, I don't have any interest. I have to feel some kind of emotional connection, and I guess because I don't really follow it that close, I don't really have that. Now, someone asked me one time to tell the story of how I got into liking racing. Well, it happened when I was 12, maybe, I think. 11 or 12. I had heard of NASCAR. I knew that we had a racetrack and all that good stuff. Well, that was about the time my mom met my stepdad, and he had a car. No, it wasn't a big NASCAR car, but it was one that he ran at the local racetrack at Hickory Motor Speedway. And there for a while I didn't go. I would go stay with my grandparents, while they went. And then one day, when it got time for my mom to take me over there, she's like, do you want to go to the race, or you want to go over there? And I don't know why, but I just said, let me go to the race. Let's try something different. And I was hooked ever since. And then in 72, I believe, or 73, my stepdad took me down here to the racetrack. I immediately became a Richard Petty fan and a Bobby Allison fan. I know they were rivals, but I still liked them both. And then in 76 was my first time at Charlotte, and I became a big David Pearson fan at that race. So that's kind of how it all started. They continued to build what was called a baby grand car. That division was a division of 4-cylinder cars. They mostly raced Vegas and Pintos, and they eventually got into a Toyota Corolla, and it eventually became the Daytona Dash Series, and then it became the Goodies Dash Series. And when it got to where they were traveling every week or every other week, that was when my stepdad and his best friend got out of the racing. Because my stepdad didn't drive. He was the main mechanic, and then he had a guy that, drove for him. At that time, it was before the Busch Series, which now is the Xfinity Series, started being kind of like the little event before the big event. At that time, they were trying to build what was then the Daytona Dash or Goodies Dash Series into being that division. And when they went to the big tracks, it just didn't, because the cars were so small, but the cars today are about that size. Anyway, they eventually went kaput, and that was when the Xfinity Series or Busch Series or whatever it was, Sportsman Series was brought on. So that's kind of the history. I was madly in love with a guy named Ronnie Thomas, who ran for Rookie of the Year in the then defunct Winston Cup Series. And it was actually after Dave and I first started dating, there was an event at I can't remember what it's called, but it's some kind of I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it represents the 70s and 80s era of NASCAR. And it was before the NASCAR Hall of Fame was built. And a lot of those drivers were there, and Ronnie was there. And I told Dave, I said, I want to go. It's been forever since I've seen him. I just want to see if he remembers me. And I was amazed. He remembered me right off, even with me being 50 pounds heavier. He remembered. He knew me. And, he was being so nice. He was telling Dave that, oh, you've got a good woman here and all this stuff. So kind of made my day back, And then there was a guy here in town that had a team, Roger Hamby. And one of his drivers was Sterling Marlin. And yes, I would go over and hang out at the garage. That's what I did back in the early 80s. And yes, I met Sterling, and Sterling and I actually became good friends, along with his wife. And that's why I guess I started really bringing up the other day that I want Sterling in the Hall of Fame. So anyway, that's kind of the story. I also met Bill Elliott, which is Chase's daddy, and there were several times when he came to town that we met for dinner. It was not anything more than that. So don't get all this in your mind that it was more, because it wasn't. And just kind of that's the way it's been over the years. So I guess I need to go now. I just thought I'd tell y'all that story since some of y'all had asked. And go Chase. I'll talk to y'all later. Love you. Bye.